how much time would it take you to memorize a passage? Like, let's say a 20 or 10 verse passage.
It depends partly on how familiar I am with it. If it's like one that is maybe somewhat common, like you hear it here and there, if it's focus time, maybe like an afternoon. But you have to realize, like, when I started Bible Bee, it was all day, and I'd get like 4 verses done. And I'd be spending from breakfast till supper, not completely solid, but like working on it anywhere I could. And by the end, it's like really rough. Can barely get through it.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Memory is a muscle. Yeah. So it's become easier, and now it's like a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours now. Yeah.
I would say the same. I also remember the first year I felt this need to memorize everything chronologically, which was a big mistake. Because you have all the passages that are especially Old Testament passages that are very wordy sometimes and have a lot of technical information. And I would just be like, okay, well, this is what I'm doing today. And it was just, I don't know why you do that. But so after that first year, or so, I think maybe I did it for the first 2 years. After that, I would just do it more randomly, whatever I was feeling. But the first couple of years I did that, and I would literally get maybe one passage. I remember just do you remember, actually you were primary, so I don't know if you had this verse. It was a junior verse. It was Genesis 8:20-22.
We had that, yeah.
I remember being in my parents' room and just working on it for hours and hours, and getting distracted and playing with highlighters, and then being okay, I should memorize this now. It was just so inefficient. But it's so true. As you do it, it really is investing in something. Yeah. You actually get better at it, and you can't necessarily trace it to be A to B, but one day you just wake up and realize I can actually do this a lot better and more efficiently than I could even a year ago or a few months ago. Yeah. And it's really rewarding in that way to see your progress, and you're able to really use it a lot better.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. I did chronological every year.
Yes.
Every year?
Yeah,
up to last year I was doing it, and it did get confusing.
But
in the Psalms, but eventually you got that stuff sorted out.
Yeah.
Right. You know, the Psalm passages, the Revelation passages.
Right.
Yeah, they eventually.
Well, that's what's weird about it. Some people, for me, I wouldn't memorize them in order. I mean, at the end, but I would know. I could probably list them in order for you. So I don't really. It's weird. Right. But it just depends. But I know it actually kind of helped me in a way, know exactly what each passage was that I memorized when I did it chronologically. So there's kind of pros and cons for each. So.
I would pick a passage that was Old Testament and purposefully pick a New Testament passage to do the same day to try to pick two very different things.
When I had the 10 in my hand, I would never put one that was very similar together. I would always have one that are opposite.
You didn't do Luke 22 and the two prayers of Jesus back
there
to back.
were
Titus 2,
so I wouldn't memorize them together.
23.
I would start with one where it's quoted. There's ones that are really the same.
Yeah.
I would memorize one, and then later on when I had the second one, I'd pull the first one out and memorize them side by side. I would always have the first one already memorized, but the second one, because if you don't compare when you're memorizing, you will get messed up. You have to know what the differences are. You have to know what the differences are.
It's Colossians 4 and Ephesians 6.
Yes, I memorized those together. Yes.
Different.
Yeah. Craziness. Yeah, that was crazy.